Beyond the Party, episode 3. First 2 weeks went really well. We're happy with all the support so far. Today's guest is going to be Martin,
Hey.
official Martin Music. I'm happy that you could join us here, Martin. And please bear with us. Me and Talia will be sharing a mic this week. We had some technical difficulties with the other one. But, yeah. How was your guys' weekends?
My weekend was awesome. I can't remember what happened before Friday, but Friday I played in Port of Asbury Park. It was my debut over there, and it was freaking insane. Awesome night. Would love to go back and highly recommend checking it out. Saturday, woke up early and played at the Wells Fargo Center in the concourse for the first playoff game with 76ers, and it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I rushed over to Camden Aquarium for a wedding, and it literally, I don't want to sound super positive all day, but it was the best wedding I've ever done. I loved the couple, the family was awesome, and it went completely smoothly. So it was just amazing.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
It's cool to keep switching it up too, like different kinds of gigs, not just doing the same thing, over and over again. Because that's definitely, a very different like a playlist you're playing at a wedding compared to the Porta or the Sixers game.
Yeah.
How was the Sixers game though? The energy, was it crazy?
Oh my God, the energy was insane.
Yeah.
It was great. And it was so funny. I actually saw so many people I knew walking through the concourse while I was playing. I really tried to play as much like Philly music as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Just really, it got me more excited for the playoffs than I already was. And it was really fun seeing all of these people come in and being able to be the soundtrack to the hype of them walking into the stadium. That was really special.
In terms of Philly nightlife right now, I feel like there's a group of the younger DJs that are really starting to make their mark and play at a lot of different spots, and you're definitely in that conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Where'd you start? Where'd you grow up at?
So my grandfather has the greatest love for music in the world. He has the most insane record collection of all time, and everything's first edition. That's what he told me the last time we went through his stuff. He's like, I don't have any of that second edition crap.
Mm-hmm.
This is all the first edition. He had such a true love for music, and he really gave that to my mom and her brothers and sisters, and she passed that on to me. It started as early as me being 2 years old, singing songs at the top of my lungs in the car, requesting songs from my mom so much that she would go out and find the CD and make sure that she could play it on repeat in the car. I think the next big point for me musically was when I was 10 years old. Guitar Hero came out.
Yeah.
I started playing Guitar Hero, and I fell in love with it, and I started to be really interested in the music. And at that point, I was like, wait, let me just look up these people on YouTube, these songs. And that really started to get me into different artists, different bands, and really started my music discovery journey. At that time, I also told my parents, I want to learn guitar. And they were like, if you want us to buy you a guitar, you're going to have to take an instrument in band. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. But I really wanted to do the guitar. So it was it was interesting. That conversation happened, and then a few weeks, they did this whole thing at my school where every music teacher in the network or district would come in, and they'd all showcase each instrument. And so I picked the trumpet. So I'm a very proficient trumpet player, and that was my first instrument. And put in the time, and then I did guitar. Then when I was 14, I moved to New Jersey when I was 12. I'm originally from Chicago. So when I was 14, I started going to teen clubs in New Jersey. New Jersey had a very big teen nightlife scene all over the state. And one of my friends was like, yo, everyone's going to this thing. You should go, da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay. I went, and I got to see DJs for the first time. I heard a lot of electronic music that I was not familiar with at that time. It opened up my mind to that world, and from then on, I really started to get more and more into that world. I started going more, and I started promoting within 3 months.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, within 3 months of being in that atmosphere, I started promoting, and I got really close with a lot of the DJs. There's one in particular. He and I were talking a bunch, and one day I asked him, I was like, how did you get into DJing? Where did you find this music? I didn't know about SoundCloud yet. I didn't know record pools. Nothing. And all he said to me was, figure it out. It's funny because that's like the best advice anyone could ever give you. But, you know, it's just kind of petty in a way. But I kind of sat down and I put my nose to the grindstone for a year and a half, and I figured it out. I got a controller. I started digging for music, and I started practicing. I was putting mixes up on SoundCloud all the time, just trying to get better. And then an opportunity came, and I knocked out the park. They started bringing me back once a month, and it turned into residencies as a 15, 16-year-old. And it kept growing, and then I moved to Philly for college, and I had to start over at Step One.
What college?
Drexel University.
Oh, Drexel. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you were part of like the little Weston Down crew, right? You were
Yeah.
DJing there a lot because I know that was a huge Drexel spot. And
Yeah.
now, that converted to Pace and Blossom now.
Yeah, so to get into the whole Weston Down crew thing, because I definitely think that's a big moment. So I came to Drexel, and I had to start at Step One again. Drexel was my number one. I knew I wanted to go there. They have an incredible music industry program, and I applied like early, whatever it was called, and I got in, and I checked out everything. Checked out after. I was like, I got in my number one. I'm done. Me and Nikos, we had actually connected on Facebook or GroupMe super early. We had this group chat with a couple other people, and it was the Drexel DJs. And like we talked, I tried to bring him up to Jersey, and like we were really excited to get to Philly and start making names for ourselves. Once we got to Philly, we were trying to figure out ways that we could do things. And at the time, this was before Instagram Live. Me and Nico would DJ every week on Facebook Live. I think it was like Wednesdays in my dorm room. I'd get the lights on. Like, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we're all trying to figure stuff out. He started promoting at some clubs, and I really took the time to try and improve myself. And like, I started doing frats the following year, and I was just kind of waiting for the right opportunity. And when West was beginning to open, Nico was starting White Claw Wednesday there.
Right. Yeah.
Me and a friend, we literally we DM'd Weston Down, and we're like, you need us on your team. So when are we meeting? Let us in for a meeting. We met, and he's like, we said like, hey, we could do this, this, and this. And he's like, we'll see next week, next Friday, bring everyone. And I was like, oh, okay. And so that's kind of how I got onto the team. And there's similar stories, or like someone invited someone, but we got this like big core group of guys, and it all tied together Halloween weekend. So everyone was kind of on board by the last week of September, if not earlier than that. We all were pushing crazy. The 2 weekends of Halloween, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. The door was shut by 11:30.
Yeah.
We hit capacity so quickly, and it really changed things for a lot of us. But then COVID hit. Weston Down was the only place that I had really been playing at that time, and I did a few small things here and there, but I hadn't really been able to make a name for myself in the city. And so when COVID hit, it really slowed things down.
Right.
I had no work. I had zero work, and I was waiting for things to come back. I was worried that I was going to have to completely change what I was doing. I have a large background in the music industry, so I knew that I could find something within that. If not, and I helped actually open a recording studio in the fall of 2020.
Okay. Cool.
But I was really concerned about when, live entertainment was going to come back. Things started to pick up again in the early spring of 2021. The city was allowing a couple places to open. Weston Down reopened, and we had a crazy time. You know, it started off pretty simple, and as you know, the city started to let more things happen, it grew. After the summer was when I would say things really picked up for me. I started my residency at Rec and Royal. I started playing a lot of places in the city, and things really picked up. So that's kind of my background from being a child to 2021, at least.
I kind of started in Philly, like right after COVID hit, and it started back up. I DJ'd at Brew for the first time in the summer of 2021.
Hell yeah.
So I didn't get to like really, I didn't experience like the stoppage as a DJ from COVID. But I'm sure that was really hard for everybody, especially
Yeah.
for people that was doing it full time. It's like shit, I don't have any gigs, and
It was tough.
yeah,
It was really tough.
I feel like it also kind of opened more opportunities for people, just starting up, because it was like a whole new game after
100%.
COVID compared to what it was before.
COVID created a major shift. There was a lot of people that had a lot of power, a lot of control, and no bookings were getting given up. After COVID, a lot of people were able to move in, a lot of people were able to shake things up, and a lot of new opportunities opened up. And they have continued to open up each year. 2021, the city was open again. Things were exciting. People were out. 2022, more people were out. This year, it's like no one's scared anymore. And so more places are opening, more people are starting to invest again, more things are happening, and it's a really exciting time.
Yeah, no, 100%. And even like these past like few weeks, the weather being like this, it's actually like insane.
It's
Everywhere
insane.
is mobbed. I love it. Like, there's places I DJ'd at in December that were like pretty dead, like 10, 20 people there.
Yeah.
And I'm DJing them now, and it's,
Yeah.
packed capacity.
Dude,
it's crazy.
Freaking awesome. Honestly, in March of this year, I was traveling most of the month. I was in Texas, Florida, and then Canada. And Canada was Canada was awesome. The fact that it was cold, I did not like.
Yeah.
But when I came back here, knowing it was still warm, like that it was warm, it was great.
How was that though? Like going on the road for a month, was it a lot?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie and say that it was not a lot. It was a lot. But it was amazing, and it was one of the best experiences I've had. Texas, I was at South by Southwest. It was my second year. For those who don't know, South by Southwest is a major conference that includes art, music, technology, and film. And a lot of great performances happen there. And I was lucky enough to be able to perform with the artists I work with and, connect with people that I've known for a long time. And it was incredible. And then in Florida, I performed on my own for a few performances. I went to Miami Music Week, and then we had 2 shows with the artists I work with as well. And it was a lot of running around. Because of the nature of Florida, there's like multiple massive cities about. There's no reason to fly, so I rented a car and I drove everywhere. So I was racking in miles like crazy and not sleeping a lot. But it was awesome. And then I flew back so I went direct from Texas to Florida. So I was living out a bag for 2 weeks. And then I got back to Philly on Sunday, and I left Tuesday night at 9 p.m. right after a gig to drive to Canada. So it was a lot of running around and not much of a break, but I wouldn't give it up for anything. I'm very blessed, lucky, and happy to be in the position I'm in, and to be able to travel for a living, to work and perform music is beyond exciting, and I'm beyond grateful for it. So, even though it is really hard, I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a grind, but like, I don't know, playing music, for a living is just something that you don't think, like when you're younger, it's not something you think, oh, like I really could do this full time. It's always, oh, I gotta go to college, study this, and pursue this career. But it's crazy how things kind of just happen. And I kind of had that moment when we were with Sean Kingston. Like that was probably the biggest crowd I ever played for, and that was insane. I know you have a pretty large like resume with opening up for artists, playing for artists, A Boogie, Juice World,
Yeah.
and so on. Are those kind of like your favorite kind of gigs to do, or does it vary?
Concerts are my favorite.
Yeah.
I love concerts. It's a group of people that are all there for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something special. There's something special about nightlife too. You know, there's hundreds, maybe thousands, depending on the venue, but there's a lot of people coming for all different reasons, and that's super beautiful in its own right. But I love concerts because everyone is coming for the shared experience of we all love this music. There's just an energy there that is incredible, and I love doing concerts. So,
Yeah.
you know, you mentioned Juice World. Doing the Juice World show was an incredible night for me. Very blessed I was able to do it. I was blessed I was able to see him before
Right.
what ultimately happened. I actually got to see him perform a couple times, and it was incredible seeing kind of like how his growth and like how much better he had gotten, and like he's really talented. Kingston was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a really good time. I wasn't I didn't know what to really expect because he is kind of an older artist. All his popular
Yeah.
songs were from like back when we were younger. That was insane. It was actually mobbed.
Dude, it was crazy.
Tell us about your early life and kind of where you're at now. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or where do you want to be in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself doing a lot. I don't think as everyone's as familiar with it because I do not market it as well, but I make my own music. So I songwrite, I produce. I play multiple instruments, as I have said earlier. So I really want to put more focus on that. I do still want to grow what I'm doing as a DJ. I mean, especially now that I'm traveling, it's a very big deal to me to keep continuing that. But I want to find a balance that works. I'm currently working on a lot of stuff that I'm really excited to roll out. Just trying to, you know, put more of the image that I want to give across and really cement what my brand looks like.
Yeah, I feel like DJing and producing are kind of really coming hand in hand, especially in today's world with like TikTok and everything. You see all these DJs just releasing different kinds of music, and that's kind of how they're getting booked and how that they're getting their name known.
Making music is like my greatest passion in the world, and there's nothing like it.
Right.
And it's just awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of music?
I don't have a favorite kind of music. I love everything, and you know, maybe that's a lame answer, but I just love music because it's music. I think music's been one of why I do what I do is because music's been one of the few things that I've always been able to rely on. It's something that brings me happiness. It brings me joy. It makes me feel something. It makes me sad when I need to be sad. And, you know, music's just everything. I feel like music is life. You know, like without music, what is life, kind of?
Also just brings people together in so many different mediums, like, for example, concerts or just people watching a YouTube video in the comment section, also, like talking about an album or a song. It's crazy how many different platforms, music is able to be showcased on, and people could really connect with it.
I love how it impacts your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You could hit every single emotion.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's like, I think that's something I like to really think about when I'm DJing, is I want to hit everyone's emotions. I don't know if you've ever seen a typical closing set for me, but I really like to get everyone, I like to touch everyone, get them in their bag a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's fun. I like being able to really influence people in that way with music, and it's, I don't know, it's just awesome.
Yeah, you are traveling around a bit. Have you noticed, based on where you are, how the crowd reacts to different kinds of songs or certain genres of music?
So it's all, sometimes it might just be the venue more than the city, but there's definitely some cultural differences depending on where you are.
Right.
Like if you're in Florida, you might play a little more Spanish music than you would in other places. But also, like Chicago has a huge Spanish community. And so, in the same thing, that doesn't make that much of a difference.
Right.
One of the most interesting things that happened recently, like when I was in Canada, it was my second day. It was like this 1,500 cap venue, and it was going crazy. And I played Boys a Liar, and it did not get the reaction I expected.
Really? Wow.
It didn't kill.
Yeah.
But it just like, the energy just like went down like half a hair, and I was like, oh. I didn't expect the song to not work.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about traveling is like figure out what's universal, what's more regional, what works in what spaces, and it's neat.
Yeah, no, that is cool. And I know you're still starting out and you're still young. What's your biggest advice for somebody, say a DJ that's just like, literally just starting out, just got a board, just downloaded Serato? What's your biggest advice for them?
I think my biggest advice of someone starting out is keep downloading music, keep being curious, listen to every DJ you possibly can. There's always something you can learn. You can always get better. You can always. I'll take that one back. What I do want to say is, still try to be true to you. I think a lot of DJs, they might play the right stuff, but they aren't like making sure that things fit with their brand. Not everyone is right for every room. And so playing in the place that makes sense for you, learning as much music knowledge as you can, because you never know where you're going to be, and you might have to play something that you're not used to. And so just trying to continue to learn, trying to continue to get better. It's a marathon, it's not a race. And, your moment will come at the right time. Going back to what I was talking about before, with the massive reception of West and Down, I was starting to gain a lot of momentum, but I hadn't like made it right through yet. And so when COVID hit, I had no work. But once the city reopened, I worked extremely hard for 8 to 10 months before the right opportunity came, and I worked hard, I did the right thing, and someone gave me an opportunity, and I was able to take it to the next level. And you always got to be ready. Success happens when preparedness meets opportunity. So always try to work harder to be more prepared. That way, when the opportunity comes, you can succeed.
Yeah, and I feel like now with networking, with other DJs and venues and stuff like that you want to get into, that's obviously very key. But I think social media plays a huge factor in everything. And looking at your social media, it looks like you put a lot of effort and time into it to make sure it has a certain appearance and people are able to view certain things about your life and like stuff that you have done. And I feel like that could really play huge into you growing and DJing at different places and stuff like that.
Thank you. I work really hard on my social media. It's something, social media is a double-edged sword, but I know that in the right circumstance, it can work. And so I put a lot of work in. I don't know if you've seen my weekend recaps.
I did, yeah.
But every weekend, every Sunday or Monday, I take all the clips I shot all week. If there's anyone that has clips, I try and ask for those clips. I throw them onto my computer. I open Final Cut Pro. So I make music, like I said, and so most of the beats on my weekend recaps are made by me. So I throw that in, and then I cut up the videos how I need, and then I do voiceover, one for Instagram, one for TikTok, even though I should just record it when I'm making the video. I don't do it that way, but I will learn to do that. And so it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort, and I really want to showcase everything I do. I think I'm a very busy person. I have a lot that I'm doing, and I think the best way to make sure that I'm being best represented on social media is to showcase all that. And I think for a long time, I was lacking in not showing what I was doing. So that's kind of the thought process behind why I started doing that.
Yeah, certain people definitely use social media just to showcase their highs and kind of not everything that they're involved with or doing, or even just the smaller things that they're focusing on. And yeah, I feel like you definitely like cover everything that you're a part of. Have you ever single-handedly just got a gig because of your social media? Like a venue's hit you up?
I've definitely gotten a ton.
A ton, yeah.
Some I didn't know about, but I'll give two examples. One was a wedding. I know this because the woman called me to talk about it before it was booked, and she's like, "Yeah, so I did some light stalking. I found your Instagram. It's awesome. I want you to DJ my wedding." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So that's one. And another one was the Canada stuff. Someone reached out to me to DJ in Canada, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Da 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 da. And he was like, "Yeah, had sent your information to the guy at top. Looked at your social media for like 2 seconds and said he can play."
Oh, wow.
And that was awesome. I love hearing stuff like that just because it validates all the hard work that I'm doing. And I think social media is so important to your overall image and like it is important, and it can definitely make a huge difference in how your brand is perceived, and like it can show a difference of how serious you are. For a long time I didn't have videos that showcased me actually DJing. Like, there's a picture of me in front of equipment, but
Right.
to have a couple videos that are a minute long and show me doing 3 quick transitions and they're clean, it's like, okay, so he at least knows how to DJ. And then, you have other clips where it's like, okay, I see he's in this places, this is good. And I think I would say to anyone that's just starting out, like, definitely try to put in that time to your social media.
You seen Nick Spinelli, his pages?
Oh, his page is amazing.
He's always posting the mixes he does at like weddings and everything. I mean, they just blow up, and people like really show respect when you have a good mix, and that is huge. Posting reels now, and just small clips.
Yeah, especially raw footage.
Yeah,
Raw
yeah.
footage does really well.
That's what I learned. Yeah, people are like, there's been times where I wanted to get like videographer for certain things and stuff, but people have told me, just record with your phone, or have someone record you on their phone. Like that's fine. You shouldn't be too like caught up in having to get professional like work done at every single gig or something like that, because people kind of want to just like see in the moment and live in that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think if you have like one big gig, like if you could get one professional video once a month, I think that's good. And besides that, take the raw footage. There's so much you can do. You could take 1 minute from your night, and that video could go way farther than, like in any amount like video that was shot by someone. Just because, the raw video, there's nothing else over it. You just hear the song, you hear the people singing, you see the energy in the room, and yeah.
So, I asked you where you wanted to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
And you said you still want to be, you want to be very busy and, traveling and stuff like that. Do you still see yourself, being in Philly your whole career? Or do you kind of want to move maybe to a different coast, different city, or?
So something that's been really interesting right now is that a lot of people are like, "Oh, when can I see you in Philly?" And it's starting to dwindle. I'm like doing a lot more stuff in Jersey. I'm starting to travel more. I definitely want to still remain a presence in Philly, and I love playing here. I love the people here. I love Philly. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I do want to travel more. I want to be all over the U.S. I want to be in Europe. I really want to get out there. And so in the next 5 years, what I see myself doing is releasing original music, starting to tour, DJing a ton, playing in every city I can. If I can get to Tokyo, I'm going to play in Tokyo. I really want to take this thing to a large scale. And so, I'm doing everything I can to do that. I have some really awesome events planned. I'm doing the Brooklyn Bowl with DJ Smooth on May 6th. June 10th, I'm throwing a yacht party in Philly. That information is on my Instagram.
Check it out.
At official Martin Music. That's official Martin music. And yeah, I have a lot planned. I'm really excited for how this year is going to shake out. The summer's looking insane. And I got some really big things coming. But I definitely see myself touring all over the world. I see myself having a lot of music out, and I see myself getting on bigger stages.
I feel like sometimes, there's a cap to where you could really get from just DJing and playing other people's music.
Yeah.
And then, when you start making your own, there's no ceiling for it, for where it could go to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely something I want to start learning because it's really interesting. And I've been into music my whole life too. Yeah, I played percussion since I was like 8 years old.
Oh yeah.
And it really goes hand in hand with DJing too.
Yeah.
Knowing different things in music theory and beat matching. Really feel like if somebody really just has a passion for music, they could pick up DJing or producing
100%.
easily. And I don't think people, give enough credit sometimes or realize how much preparation and time like really goes into it. And, that's why, I think this podcast is great for people that aren't even in nightlife and that want to learn about it or get started to working in nightlife. But I did want to touch on, the mental and physical effects on what nightlife bring and working in it. The long nights and, long nights that turn into just not sleeping early days. And how's that affected you? Or how have you kind of dealt with that?
It's really difficult to find a balance. That's the truth. Anyone that tells you otherwise is lying. But I've been really trying to figure that out for me. When the venue closes at 2, if there isn't someone important I need to speak to, if I can hold a conversation off till later, I say goodbye to everyone, and they can hit me up anytime they want. But I'm going home.
Yeah.
I go straight home. I try to go to sleep, or I watch TV for too long. But I always try to really, budget my time. Being up late is a nature of the job, but it's not something that's great for anyone's mental health. And I still wake up early regardless. It's just something I do. So I need to get in bed by a reasonable hour. So there's a couple nights here and there that you might see me out late, but I really try to limit it. It takes a huge toll. It really does.
Yeah, it does, especially just being around so much, alcohol and just drunk people, having friends come, they're drinking, sometimes you want to stay out with them, like have a good time. And, also just kind of sometimes separating your personal life, with your nightlife life.
Mm-hmm.
Nightlife life, yeah.
I'm a very huge advocate of keeping, like the work and like the rest of your life separate.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I come to work, I'm coming to work. I have an awesome job, but I'm here to work. And when I go home, like that's my sanctuary. That's where I relax. I recently like moved into a really awesome home, and I'm very happy that with what I've been doing with it. Like I spend a lot of time just like figuring out how I want to decorate another room or something like that.
Yeah.
And like it's nice to have something great at home. And you got to keep it good at home. You got to keep your work. And that's how I feel.
Just finding that good balance between your personal life and your work life is definitely key and huge to really like making it further and the
100%.
longevity of your career.
100%. I love going and making rounds. Like on Saturday, I finished the wedding. I went home. I showered. I went out. I stopped by as many places as I could. I just love seeing the people that we work with.
Yeah.
We work with some really awesome people.
100%.
But I think some people take it too seriously with I gotta go see everyone. If you need a night off, take the night off.
Yeah.
Like we are out all the time, and I think it's important that people remember that the self-care comes first, because if you're not good to yourself, you cannot be good to others. There was someone recently, it was their birthday, and everyone was going. And my mental health was at an all-time low that day, and I was drained. And if I went out there, all I would have done was made it not fun. And so I stayed home. I don't know if this person feels some type of way that I didn't go, but I know that they all had a better time because I wasn't there. And I think that's an important decision that someone should make.
I feel like it is the same, but a little different. Like bartenders, like you, Talia, I feel like for you even, it's kind of harder sometimes to stay away from like drinking, like while at work and like stuff
Yeah.
like that, because people are buying shots or they want to buy
Or if
you a
see
shot.
people you
Yeah.
know and they're coming out and they're like, come out after you're done work, and I'm like, and then like my best friends come and I'm like, I don't want to let them down, but literally the other night I went out after work. I was so tired. I literally sat there for like 30 minutes and had to like decompress, and people were like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I need to not socialize for like,
Yeah.
I need to like, I literally just need to like recalibrate.
Yeah. Sometimes, when I get done a gig, even, and I'm driving home and, friends were with me at the gig and I'm dropping them off or something like that. They're trying to blast music in the car. I'm like, guys, I just,
The silent ride.
yeah, just lower it,
Oh,
please.
there's
Yeah.
nothing like a silent ride. You
Yeah.
don't even play music. It's just quiet.
Yeah, there's been times where I worked, like, double gigs, and it's just, just constant music for, 10 hours? And
Yeah.
it's like, holy shit. Like, I just need, yeah, you're right. I just need silence and darkness, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the longest set you've done? I'm curious.
A private party was probably one of my longest ones,
Mhm.
which was, I think it was like a work event, and it was 7 hours long, I think.
Okay.
Just straight, though. Like,
Yeah.
no breaks or anything like that. How about you?
My longest is 9 hours.
9
a bar
hours.
crawl, but I know someone who's done 15, and
Oh
I
my
want to do
God.
it. I want to do it at least once.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to do it once.
At that point, you gotta start repeating music and
The 9
Yeah.
hours, I didn't repeat a thing.
not one thing.
I was so proud.
Wow.
I was very happy.
Yeah, I give you props for that.
Also, didn't get a lot of requests that day. It was nice.
Yeah, that's the best. Oh my gosh, I had on Saturday at Brew.
Mhm.
There was not only was I getting a lot of requests, but I had the repeat offenders that if I didn't play it in 5 minutes, they came back up like, "Hey, I didn't hear my song yet," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't get to it yet. It's coming." Come on,
Here's a good one. So at an unknown location, this girl comes up to the booth, and she was like, "Hey, yo, can you play the song?" And what I do at this location, and most locations, unless I have too much going on and I'm not thinking about it, I'm like, follow me on Instagram, DM me the request. So they're like, and I was like, follow, DM the request, because I have to set that standard. That way, as anyone else comes over, that's the standard. And they're like, I type it in, follow, and I'm like, it'll come soon. And she's like, just play the song. And I was like, okay, I'm not playing it. And the funny thing was, I was at the exact BPM. I was literally going to play it next, but she was rude, so
Yeah.
I didn't play it.
yeah.
And
People,
then she came back.
oh my god.
He's like, you're not going to play the song? And I'm like, you yelled at me.
yeah.
Like, I'm not playing the song. It was actually going to come next, but you were rude.
Okay.
I don't have a problem playing people's requests.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's
yeah,
just, if you're rude to me, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes people come up, they're like, "You're doing a great job. If you could squeeze this in, that'd be great." I'm like, "Yeah, I got you. That's awesome." Yeah, requests aren't bad because you want to cater to the crowd and
Yeah.
play what they want and kind of vibe with them, but just don't be too aggressive, please.
Say please and thank you.
We're human too.
Just don't be a dick.
DJs do accept tips.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we accept tips. There was one
I never
night.
thought about it. I mean,
There was one night. I don't know what kind of crowd this was, but they brought their money that night. I made $250 in tips one night.
Nice.
I don't know how.
Dude.
That never happened to me
do you guys
before. It
usually
never
get
happened to me
tips?
again.
Like, is that like a
It's not like
Not
it's
too
not a
often.
common thing, but it can happen.
Yeah.
It's nice when you get people from out of town.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
I was playing somewhere and this guy's like, I'm from Holland or something. It might have not been Holland. It's been a while. But he was like, it's my last night. I need to get rid of this cash. And I was like, or you could change it back. But if you want to give it to me, it's cool. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, no, that's dope. So did you have any, I know you said when you first asked that one DJ, he kind of said just figure it out.
Yeah.
But did you have any mentors or, you know, older DJs that kind of helped you go in the right direction?
You know, when I was younger, I would say there was no DJ that really mentored me. You know, like my barber was a DJ, and you know, he always had like game to spit, but he never like showed me how to play. Yeah, you know, I don't think there was any real DJ mentor for me. It was truly a figure it out at any point.
Right.
You know, now that I'm much more established in Philly, you know, I can reach out to any of these people and I'll talk to them. And, you know, there's still some people that help me from a business standpoint or have taught me things. But I wouldn't say that there was anyone who really showed me how to DJ. I definitely have a few people that I do consider mentors, but more I think on like how to be a good human being, how to navigate this world that we're in. Never anything about, you know.
Right. Yeah, the ones and twos.
Nothing about the ones and twos.
Yeah, a lot of it is figuring it out. You know,
Yeah.
you buy a board, figure it out, and just start messing around. You download music, and that's it. I remember when I did my first bar, I had no idea still what I was doing. I didn't know how to beat match or anything. I was kind of just fading in and out.
Yeah.
I was like an aux cord. But then Weiss was like, dude, you got to like learn how to mix, how to beat match. And I was like, what's that? But yeah, he was definitely a huge help to me, and you know, a lot of other guys. But you know, one guy that's always been in my corner was Rambi, who's the man. You know,
Ram's
yeah,
the
I know you know
frickin'
Rambi.
man.
Yeah, who
Ram is
lives in
awesome.
Chicago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's always, you know, just tried to lead me in that direction and told me how to do things the right way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was always a huge help.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to talk about damaged goods too a little bit. You know, I know Rambi was a part of that with you for a while. How did that kind of start? How'd you get involved with damaged goods?
So Damaged Goods was started by Nico and a decent amount of other people. Some people aren't in that first iteration anymore, but when Nico started to head it in a different direction and take it in the form that it is now, he asked me to be a part. And as you know, I've known him since the end of high school, so you know, I just wanted to help him, you know, make something happen. And that's kind of it.
That's awesome. And you know, for anybody that doesn't know, could you explain, you know, like what damaged goods, I guess, just is in general?
Damaged Goods is a creative collective of artists, DJs, performers, and other things, and you know, just trying to make things happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, it seems like you guys get into really cool spots and do, you know, cool events. Like I mentioned earlier, off camera, I saw you guys were doing stuff at the pool after dark.
Pool is an awesome venue.
Yeah, it's really fun there. Yeah,
It is the greatest place ever. I know I'm gassing it up, but it is amazing. I played on my birthday. It was so funny because I got the text and I was like, "You don't even know this is my birthday weekend. I'm so happy about
yeah,
this."
it's dope.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I actually was able to do the same thing. My birthday weekend, play there. I opened up for DJ Vice, which was dope.
Vice is sick.
Yeah, and he's a super cool guy too. You know, it's funny when you DJ with these bigger artists or DJs, and you kind of just see how they're human too, and you know, very down to earth. You know, some guys sometimes could be assholes, obviously, but some guys, you know, you could actually bro down with. And
honestly, like they're all people, man, and
Yeah.
like a lot of these people are super duper nice. You cannot be in an industry for so long or get as far as a lot of these people do if you're not nice, because someone is be like, "Oh, I don't want him here."
Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're all just really great people.
And you know, two final things I want you to kind of just tell us: your best experience DJing and your worst experience DJing. You can choose which one that goes first.
Oh man, I think the worst one will be such a great story to tell.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So, worst DJ experience of my life. It's my sophomore year of college. I got hit up by this guy. It's Tuesday, or maybe it was Monday. The event was Tuesday. And he's like, yo, do you want to DJ in Long Island? And I was like, it's Tuesday. There's probably money. Why not? And I'm like, yeah, how am I going to get there? And he's like, take the train to Trenton. I'll pick you up at the Trenton train station, and we'll drive up. And I'm like, okay. So Tuesday comes, hop on the train. I get to Trenton. He's not there. And I'm like, where you at? And he's like, I just left.
Oh,
So he gets here, picks me up, and then we just go back to his house. And I'm like, why are we back at your house? He's like, oh, I'm not driving us up. And I'm like, who's driving us up? And he's like, you'll see. I'm like, I don't like that. So guy picks us up. We get in the car. It's this guy. His name's Gibby. I wish I was joking. His name is Gibby. And then it's Gibby and the guy who told me to come. The guy who told me to come's girlfriend in the front seat. And I just don't want to use his name. He also just got arrested, which is hilarious, but we'll get there. So Gibby, girlfriend, promoter. That's what we'll say.
Okay.
So Gibby, girlfriend, promoter, and me in the back seat. We get in the car. He starts driving. First thing Gibby says is, yo, promoter. I'm really trying not to say his name. I'm really trying. Yo, promoter. Yo, promoter. Like, you would have been really impressed with the girls I met in rehab. And I was like, that's a loaded sentence. One, he said that with his girlfriend in the car.
Right.
Two, wait, did you just get out of rehab? I didn't say this. I'm just processing in my head. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck did I get myself into? And this dude could not drive for shit. It was the scariest 2 hours of my life. We get to some fucking Long Island college. We get in. It's the promoter's cousin who's throwing the party. We go to this guy's room. He's like, hey, what's up? And then he just goes into his room and makes sweet, sweet love to his girlfriend. And I'm just like, why am I here right now? Then, like, comes out, and then I'm like, so when are we leaving? And he's like, yeah, we don't have to be there till, so, like, just chill out. Like, 3 hours of my life goes by. And then we head to the bar. There's like 2-3 DJs opening for you.
Oh.
And I'm like, are you fucking, what?
Yeah.
I could be home. And dude, they're all like awful, like god awful. And one was brutal, second brutal. And then promoter's cousin hops on. He's fucking blacked out. And he's like at 80 beats per minute, syncs a song at 120, and it just sounds freaking awful. Oh my God, it was terrible. And I'm like, promoter, I need to get on. And somehow he got me on. I play. I don't know what time this place closes. So I'm playing. It's like 2:36. And I'm like, I'm going to stop. I just stopped. No one told me that it was bad I stopped. Everyone was still just trying to kind of hanging out. Some people started to leave. I'm like, what is going on? And so I get off. Promoter runs up to me. He's like, yo, Martin, something really bad happened. And I'm like, what? Because at this point, this day has been a whole shit show. And he's like, yo, so I saw Gibby kissing my girlfriend. So I fought him, and he ran away with the car. And I'm like, how are we getting home? And he's like, I don't know. So him and his girlfriend are fighting. And then the promoter's cousin and his girlfriend are apparently fighting. And then I go up to the promoter's cousin, and I'm like, yo, where's the money? And he's like, yo, I don't think I have enough to pay you. And I was like, no, you're freaking paying me. I was promised da-da-da-da. As he says this, he tips the bar $400.
Oh my God.
One, I respect a promoter that tips the bar. Pay everyone else before you give money you don't have to give. Mm-hmm. And he's so drunk, so he's dropping money everywhere. And I saw a little money fall. I just put my foot down. So both couples are still fighting. We're there for another hour for some reason. And then they finally decide to call an Uber. We're in the car, headed back to the college. Promoter's like, okay, so you know what's wild? I actually own his car. I bought it so we can drive it home. And I was like, okay, so we're leaving. And he's like, but I want to have fun first. And I'm like, it's 3:30 in the morning. You don't get to have fun anymore. And then we go back to the room. He freaking disappears. And now it's me, the girlfriend who's distraught, and then promoter's cousin in promoter's room. Then for some reason they all leave the room and it's just me in the room. I took the exact amount of money I was supposed to be paid. I should have took more, but it is what it is. You know, values or whatever.
Right.
But I saw where he put it. I took my exact payment that I was supposed to be had. As we all walk out, promoter is coming up the stairs, laughing his ass off with the girl. We know what they just did. And his girlfriend is right next to me. And I'm like, all right, so we ready to go. I got the keys. Let's get out of here. So we're driving, and it's me, promoter, in this passenger seat, girlfriend's in the back, and I'm driving. And he's like, can you just like pull over? Can you just like pull over? Like, I gotta go back. And I'm like, no, you don't. And he's like, I gotta go back. I'll just call an Uber from the middle of the highway. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I said, you are not going anywhere. We're going home. And so then we get to a point where on the highway, we're in Jersey now, and if we take this exit, it goes to my mom's house. If like I'm going to my mom's, and I will get home from there, and you can have your girlfriend drive, or whatever she is now. You can figure that out on your own time.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no. And like, it's not my car, so I just pull over. We just sit there for an hour, and then he gives in. Drive to my mom's house. Girlfriend gets in the driver's seat, looks at me with the worst look in the whole world, like, I hate that you've seen all of what has transpired tonight. And that was the worst DJ experience I've ever had.
Yeah, that sounded like a fever dream.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's real.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
Sounds eventful.
Yeah, that was the best Tuesday of my life, actually. Best DJ
I forgot it
experience.
was a Tuesday.
Right? That's a
Yeah,
freaking
that's even
Tuesday.
crazier. That's
It's
a
all on a
Tuesday.
Tuesday. And I had class Wednesday morning.
Club going up.
On a Tuesday, I definitely played that. Best experience, and this kind of tied in all as one because I also performed an original song that night. But it was fall 2021. Yes. And me and one of the companies that I own, Philly Creators, we all performed and opened up for Flo Rida. And I DJ'd in between every act, and I got to perform myself as well. And it was awesome. Like, in front of 5,000 people, we really got to showcase and do our thing. And that was just a really special night. So I would say that's the best.
Yeah, I bet. DJing for, like a concert crowd, which I've only done a few times, and like I said, Kingston was like, it was dope. Yeah, it's very different feeling, and you could feel like you could almost just like play anything, and like, people are just gonna vibe with you. Yeah, it's surreal feeling. You have any final announcements or anything? You want to tell the people?
Friday, I'm at Pace and Blossom. Saturday, I'm at Vesper. And we're just going to turn things up. That's going to be my last day in Philly for a little bit of time. So if you can come out this weekend, come show some love. It's going to be awesome. Martin, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at official, MARTIN music. That's official music spelled correctly. Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.